Hey, 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 what's up, Crown Nation? Welcome to Rock the Crown. Thank you so much for joining us today because today is the last episode for season
My goodness.
5. Can you believe? Can you believe it? Last episode for season 5. We have been doing this for 5 seasons, ladies and gentlemen, and we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much to all of that. Okay, let's turn it all the way down and turn it all the way up at the same time. So, Nev, how are you feeling?
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe it's been 5 seasons, first of all. And just to know that season 5 is over with. Like, where did the time go?
Right.
We like to plan a couple times a year to plan this whole thing out, bringing you guys topics that will interest you and help you, helping our community, helping our women, and just inspiring one another. So we love what we do, and we're going to continue. We're definitely going to be looking for feedback today. We just want to kind of refresh your memory on some of the things that we've talked about. And, we look forward to hearing from you later on some of the topics that you'd be interested in hearing. And so we'll go from there. So one of our first topics that we did was making your love story work for you. That was really a good one.
Yeah.
Because everybody's love story looks different, right? And then when we think about the word love, so we kind of talked about that. And whether it's, in your couple's relationship or relationships with your mom or your sisters or even your friends, it doesn't matter with who, but just making your love story work for you.
Yeah. Long distance, short distance, 2 houses, 1 houses. I think somebody was saying, I think, was it a comment or something? Somewhere someone had, maybe I ran into somebody and they were just like, people, they need to be living together if they're in a relationship. I'm like, where does it say that? I mean, that's what they want to do. They want to live separate. That's on them. Okay. So,
you mean if they're married? When you say in a relationship, you mean if they're married? Okay.
Yeah, if they're married. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some people, yeah. And it's according to like whatever they want to do. If they can afford 2 houses and maintain whatever, if that's how it works for them, that's their relationship. And so we have to kind of be less judgmentally and preachy when it comes to other people's relationships. But making your love story works for you, meaning that it's in your parameters, in your guidelines, and whatever is going to fit for you and your family. And I think also we were talking about on this show roles and responsibilities. So that was always interesting as well. Our next show for season 5 was Mind Shift, When Love is on Hold. And let's start off talking about why we had this on here in the first place.
Well, we had of course, you guys know our queen Nafisa. She was just not having it. She was not interested in talking to anybody, didn't want to see a relationship for a long shot. And this was one of the topics that she actually chose, like, mind shift, when love is on hold. She was like, I'm about my money right now. I'm about getting my exercise on, I'm just focusing on me, which is good. This is something that you need to do and focus on before you get yourself, as you're preparing yourself for your mate,
Right.
And so alhamdulillah, our beautiful queen just tied the knot yesterday. She got married.
She married now.
Yes, it was so beautiful. So we definitely will try to put some pictures and stuff out on our social media as well.
Oh yeah.
And then shout outs to Nefertari Haziz, Queen's Creations, for doing what we do. It was beautiful. Just the whole plan of events and decor and all of that. So she had that mind shift and she tried to put that love on hold, and she worked on that for a little bit. And then it came around.
Came creeping in and started creeping up on her. It was like, what? Yeah. Oh, boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, chicka, boom, chicka. So yeah,
and when you did that reminds me of her performance last night. So
exactly right. Remember that song by Deborah Cox, How Did You Get Here? Nobody's supposed to be here. That's what happened to Nafisa. Okay, so love can be on hold, but it may sneak up on you and creep up on you. Okay, so next I love this episode. Episode 3 was So You Think You're Ready for Marriage. 2 young people came on here. One, Nefertari, being your son, Najee. The other being Christine, who we love her so much. We've known her since she was a baby. And we got on here. answering those questions, honey. They were like on it, right? They were like, oh,
Yes.
yeah, this is the answer. This is the answer. And Christine had some technical difficulties during that episode. She was still on it. And they
Sharp as a
both
tack now.
received, hey, right. They both received a little gift of appreciation from Rock the Crown. So, alhamdulillah, that was beautiful. Because again, we want to make sure that our people are being prepared for marriage. And if not, just having them start thinking about some things because
Mhm.
things within marriage, sometimes you don't think about it because you haven't experienced it. And of course, your experience is your reality. But we want to definitely make sure we have our young people always thinking about the next step. And
Mhm.
episode 4 was.
No, yeah, of course, that was a topic that you really love, Naima, living the international lifestyle.
I love
She is
it.
one of the
Okay.
people
And
who
I am
love to
going to be doing
travel.
that.
Yes, and I love to travel too. I just don't get around as much as she does. But international travel, we talked about all the places that you can go to, the different things and reasons that people travel for, whether it's seeing the sightseeing, whether it's the food. You know, we have a lot of foodies. People like to travel just to get a little taste of that, the difference in the food. You know, we have a lot. We're like the melting pot here I'm gonna say Missouri, but in the United States. Yeah, we get a taste of some of everything, but when you authentically get this food as you travel and go to different places, it just kind of like puts you on a whole nother level of food. So we talked about that and so many beautiful places to go to, you know, and we know
So
that a
many.
lot talks
So
about this world and traveling and how spacious it is. So I just always kind of see myself as being a traveler as I get, even as I get older. So even with my young one, I'm like, he's just gonna be rolling with me.
okay, that part.
Yeah.
And your girl, me, when I passed out when you said you were having a child, we need to be rolling soon. Okay. So with that being said, even the international lifestyle living, we also talked about like preparing ahead of time and
Mhm,
know what's going to be going on with the country and culture and talking to people who've actually done that experience, meaning that they live there right now. And
mhm.
we talked about my favorite place, and of course, is Morocco. But after day 5, tagine is like what and what? Tagine veggie, tagine fish, tagine beef, tagine goat, tagine lamb, tagine chicken. And it's just so you want to make sure that you understand the food, the
Mhm,
culture, and what your expectation, what you want in that lifestyle. And then, of course, going on into episode 5, this is when Ramadan was kind of like creeping up on us, and it was like, what's
mhm.
happening? So we talked about uncovering the crown, the spirituality of the crown with Shahida Sharif. And of course, she was dropping those jewels on us as usual. This is something you can always go back and listen to, check it out. What is spirituality versus religion, and how spirituality serves and really protects us for our life. Very, very
Mhm.
important topic, but something that all Muslim women, especially those on Rock the Crown, can take away some jewels and live them and apply them to the everyday life. But of course, we love our Shahida Sharif.
Yes, and then we had something very similar, but just with a little bit more twist to it. You can be the happiest woman in the world. So we kind of put it in that order because as you're uncovering your crown, thinking about yourself and your spirituality, which really comes first. Being the happiest woman in the world, you can be the happiest woman in the world. And of course, we used the references from a book, but we had our special speaker, Fatima Kokar, come on, and as usual, she was excellent, great speaker. Just being able to apply, Quran and Hadith to all of the topics of just understanding why and how, and helping you with your mindset. The mindset
Right,
was like
right.
the number one thing of being happy.
That part.
Once you put your mind to it, it's like you're like setting a goal. You're like setting that pace for yourself. And a lot of times, people are in different forms of depression. They've got so much going on, and there's ways to be able to pull yourself out. Sometimes people will hear like, things people may be going through or how they're feeling. And the
Right.
first thing that some people think about is like, how is your relationship with God?
That part.
What are
Okay.
you doing? So I think that this episode really kind of helped in that area to get people to kind of recenter themselves on that.
Right. And also, this started our book club. So every season from now on, inshallah, we will be doing at least 3 to 4 books for the season. And this was our first book for our book club. And so, again, you can be the happiest woman in the world. That book is available on Amazon. Google it, find all these other places you can purchase that book. And of course, don't forget to support a local Muslim Islamic bookstore if you can. And then after that, of course, also the spirituality, there's some real good gems about yes and no that I really want to make sure that people go back and check out from that aspect of the book. Then we moved into modesty and fashion. And so really, we talked about this really from the perspective of not just modesty, but the word modesty, and not just fashion, but what does fashion look like in terms of like from an Islamic perspective? What is your arwa? What is the clothing that you wear and how it represents and speaks volumes to the world. And of course, we had Nefertari on here sharing her gems of beautiful clothing and things like that. And we talked about different things that you can wear and processes and all that good stuff. So if you want to check that out again, it's about to be the summertime. This is the time to go back and reflect on that episode to see what you can pull out of that closet. Yes, pull out of that closet and make sure that something happens for that.
So as you know, fashion is definitely a passion of mine. I love it. But I also have another area talking about money, how to make money, how to invest money, how to work your money, and just learning the different facets of, some things I didn't quite get when I was younger. So our 8th episode we talked about money behaviors, solutions to managing your money. A lot of times we know, make some money, save some money. People know about saving money somewhat, like, you always want to put a little bit back, but then we kind of went a little bit deeper on how to be able to do that. And we had our special guest, Nardine Jihad, come on and share his expertise with that. And then in addition to saving money, we also talked about, making sure that you have your life insurance policies in place. We talked about, just the importance of that. And with family life, we don't know when our day is coming, but we all know our day is coming.
Right.
And so being able to have those things in place is very crucial. And it really helps your family in the event that something happens to you. And it causes a lot less stress. Plus they're taken care of. So that's one, having a life insurance policy set in place and saving money, investing money and letting your money grow for you. So that was something really, really good. Definitely go back and check that out. I really encourage that. That was episode 8. Money behavior.
Yes. And Nardine is also, we're going to bring him back hopefully in season 6, because this was kind of like toward the end of Ramadan. And so his internet connection was not the best, but it's still good. Some great, right. It was a little woogie, but still some great tips inside of that episode. And then of course we rolled into episode 9, which of course, is one of my favorites. We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rodgers. This is the second book in our book club for this season 5. And we basically talked about how we, found out about the book, how we all read the book during the summer, and really how some of us joined the club. And then we also talked to some schmillies. So I reached out to some of my schmillies, one being Muslim, one just being here inside of the group. And they kind of talked about like how this book has really changed their life. And so that
you got to remind the audience. You got to remind the audience what a schmilly is.
Oh, yes. Okay. So a schmilly is someone who is a part of the We Should All Be Millionaires club. Okay. So if you're interested in that, you can go to hello7.com, check that out. Look at that episode, because again, so many great tools and gems in there. And then of course, as Muslim women, we talked about how important it is even for just us as Muslim women to have money and the impact we can make on the world with having our money. So that's something you also want to check out and think about if you wanted to play the season back. And we're talking about all these topics specifically so that you can go back and look at them before season 6 comes up.
Yes. And so then next we did multi-family living. This was really good. Multi-family living. Why is it important? Why it's important. So we just kind of talked about the different levels of multi-family living. We have, you might have families on top of families living with each other, meaning married couples with children. We kind of talked about these big mansion ideas, but having your own how we kind
I
of envision
love it.
our family being, we talked about different nationalities on how they do what they do, even with building their businesses and putting their money together and helping one get things started and going another way. And this is just how they do it, by living together and sharing in the bills so that they can save money and apply it
Right.
to their businesses. And so this was really a good session too, multifamily living. And then we even talked about it from the aspect of our own children. Once your children are older, because when they become teenager and early 20s and even late 20s and 30s these days and home.
Right. Right.
Like that's multifamily living in a way, because they've got their own mindset. They come and go as they want, this and that. And so it's like things that, that kind of tie into that. And so we want to encourage that still, and make
Yeah.
sure that you understand responsibilities come with that, and not, just feel like, hey, I'm just living it up kind of thing. And so it was really good. Take a look. Like she said, there's certain episodes. We want you to go back and kind of view all of them, but that's a really good one.
And something else we talked about in that episode is like it's okay for all these family members to be living together, because we did of course talk about 7 of the reasons why this is such a great idea, and then of course so many other countries are doing it anyway, and remembering that culturally as African American people we have been stripped of this kind of cultural experience anyway, and that because living here in America sometimes we see ourselves in this kind of European mindset, which is kind of like me, only me kind of thing. And, just not really digging into that, just kind of like, hey, let's get back to our roots. So yeah, check that episode out. And then after that multifamily living, we started going into May, which of course was mental health month. Man, when I tell you last month was on and popping, it was on and popping. So we started off with, really doing the bullfrog syndrome story, how to self-preserve. So we talked about all of the things that we have to do to self-preserve. And of course, if you don't know what the frog story is, or the bullfrog syndrome, it's basically you can put a frog in boiling water and it'll jump out. If you put a frog in tepid water and then raise the temperature, eventually basically the frog dies because it gets so used to adjusting the temperature that it doesn't realize that it has actually killed itself. And that's kind of like something that we as women do. We just put it on, do. Superman cape got holes in it, all this other stuff. And so we just really need to learn how to self-preserve, take care of ourselves. And the more that we can take care of ourselves, we can take care of our families. And not thinking of it in like a selfish way, but just thinking of it kind of like what it talks about in the Quran: save yourself and then your family. So that is just on so many levels, right? Meaning that yourself has to be first. And it's kind of like we also talked about the airplane. When you're on the plane, you got to put your mask on first before you can help somebody else. So just thinking about that. So that was really a great episode as well.
And so then next we have being intentional with mental illness. And so with this episode, it was just so good. It was so good.
So good.
We didn't really know where. And so we had Hadia Bomani in, and she's a psychologist. She has a psychology major, is what I meant to say, and in clinical mental. That all my words are twisted. Clinical mental health. And so she definitely dropped a lot of gems. Just, talking about being intentional with whatever position that you're in, meeting you wherever you are and being able to just center yourself.
Oh man. And all of the different aspects of like the new aspects of social and behavioral sciences that have been created within the last 10 years when it comes to mental health, and then breaking all of those down in terms of like, are you top down or bottom up in terms of like your approach to your mental health? Just all juicy. And then it was so juicy that we had to have her back again the next week when we were talking about The Body Keeps the Score, which was our 3rd book for our book club, but also The Body Keeps the Score, the book. Let me just tell y'all, I kept telling my girls, are y'all ready for this? Because this is a serious topic. And let me tell you, it was serious. And Nefertari, you want to talk about how serious that topic was?
Not really, but let me tell you, you know what? I was thinking when she started talking, I was like, okay, yeah, like, I got this, like, because she was talking about how, when you talk about trauma, in the book, it just kind of started in the beginning talking about veterans and different people and experiences that they've had in different places. And so I'm like, okay, because I didn't get a chance to read the whole book. So I'm like going, but as we started going through the motions and she's talking and sharing and stuff just started hitting me all kind of way. I was like, oh my God. So go back and watch that. Not, but I really try to just keep myself together to be able to finish the show.
Right.
When we talk about like, everything was mixed from the previous one as far as misconceptions, health and wellness, getting your mental steps together. She, kind of gave wellness tips. And so just pulling it all together and talking about different things that kind of can hit you in a way when you do have a trauma. And some people don't even realize that they have it, but it could be certain little things, it can be words, it can be smells, it can be different things that can trigger something that will get you going. And so I was like, this is really real.
Oh my God, it was so real. And just also making sure that people, if you can't read the book, because basically it is a big book and it is a long read, but what I was sharing with everybody is on Audible. It is available. It is, I believe, 16 hours if you want to listen to it. But one thing that we highly, highly, highly recommended when listening to the Audible for The Body Keeps the Score is to make sure that you check in with yourself as well as a therapist and or counselor, because generally when you start uncovering these things, listening to these types of programs, a lot of trauma does start to happen. I was just sharing with the group that during that entire episode, I was like shaking the whole time. And just because I know that I've had traumatic experiences and that through that trauma, my body still registers it, right? So my mind is kind of like in another place. But if I say a specific word or whatever, honey, it starts triggering. I'll be like, oh, what's going on, right? So I'm trying to rub my legs, keep myself calm. But again, just making sure that you are checking in. If you're reaching a level where, you're getting nervous or you're starting to sweat or you're starting to rock or whatever, that's similar to trauma, because what your body is doing is trying to respond to keep and protect your mind and your mental space, and so it comes out in the body keeps the score. So again,
so in a way that's called, I know people when they hear the words or the letters PSD, PT, PT,
post-traumatic syndrome.
Yeah.
Disorder. PTSD.
Thank you very much, PTSD. But I bet you everybody knew what I was talking about.
Right. And I think in the episode we got it wrong too.
So, but this could be anybody. You didn't necessarily have to go to war somewhere. This is something that happens with even the average citizen. Whatever you have experienced in life, and it also happens to any age. So it's a wide variety of people where this condition can happen with. And so we definitely encourage you to go back and watch both of those episodes on the mental health. So our next show was last week.
Yes,
It was really special. It was special for me to be able to have Bilal and Shida on. We did a one-on-one with Bilal and Shida. I know a lot of people have gotten a chance to know them and learn about them in some ways. I can't say everything that you see on TV is true. You got to do a little bit more digging. And so that's one reason why we wanted to have them on, just to be able to share and get them on together and just share a little bit one-on-one with them on just the process and how they met, how things are going so far. What do we have to look forward to with the show? And so it was really good. It was very kind of comical, and Bilal was being himself, being the jokester like he does. And Shida, she's really sweet. And so she was sharing her bit and taking her, keeping up. Let me get this out. Taking her hands back. Like, she was like, I got you on this. Like, she kind of cruelty of the, some of the things that are being done and said. And so it was good. It was good to have them on.
Yeah, it was really good. And I do want to say that because this is our personal platform, which is Rock the Crown, any of your comments that are negative, they will be hidden and deleted, and you will be banned from our page. Just want to let you know that we don't put up with foolishness here on Rock the Crown. Okay. So we want to have respect for our audience. We want to have respect for the people that we have on as our guests. And so anything that is negative and or that's great. It's your opinion. Keep it to yourself. Okay. Don't come onto our page with any of that foolishness. Okay. So just want to let you all know that part. And as in the words of Nefertari is like, okay, girl. Okay. Right. But yeah, definitely shout out to
plenty other places to go to for that. We don't want to do that.
Plenty of places.
We're doing that at a lot of places.
Plenty of places. And you know what? So even in recapping, I think in season 2, maybe no, I think it was in season 3. We had a gentleman, a Muslim man who not African American, and I'm saying that intentionally because he reached out to us and literally emailed me like 10 pages of his own personal dissertation on what we as Muslim women should be talking about and how we're going to hell and all this other stuff. Let me just tell you something. Our platform is specifically for us. Meaning we have chosen to have an audience that we want to reflect that look like us. Even if not everybody looks like us, we are here for a reason. We wanted to share our perspective in terms of like African American women and Muslim. That is what we chose to do. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch the show. But we are so grateful to all of those that do. And the messaging that people send emails, we've had some really great messages and emails as well, where people are like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I've never heard this voice before, and this is the voice that I've been looking for. So we so appreciate that. But definitely make sure that as we continue going on, that you share with your friends and family. And we also want to encourage you, if you have a show that you think that we should do, definitely reach out to us, rockthecrownforus@gmail.com. Again, Rock the Crown for Us. We're on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, so you can also send us messages there. And we only accept positive messages, okay? And not that we're delusional.
When you say Rock the Crown for Us, I think that's important too. A lot of times when you search on YouTube and you put in Rock the Crown, it's sometimes a little bit hard. So for the viewers, put in Rock the Crown for Us. You can do the number 4 and then US. Rock the Crown, number 4, US. And you should get plenty, because I know there's some other shows with Rock the Crown or Crown in it. And so sometimes that stuff will pop up. So and then you can give them our channels for social media.
Yeah, and I did put that in the chat, but we are the only Rock the Crown show. I will say that, okay?
That's true.
And then thinking about next season. So season 6, again, some of our most infamous topics that we talk about for people who've never been on here before or never seen us before, we always talk about love, business, economics, community, mental health, nutrition, fashion and arts. We talk about spirituality, politics, and lifestyle. So that's what all of our topics generally are every single season. We try to have at least 2, if not 4 2 to 4 episodes per topic. We weren't able to put politics in this last season, but we always know it's some politics going on, right? So we'll see what happens next season. But again, hey, we're looking for any show ideas. We will be putting all of our heads, thoughts, and minds together. We do want people to know, because I know some people are asking, hey, where's Daya? Daya is still with us. She's still our queen, and she will be coming on every now and then as an episode, because she just has other things going on, traveling internationally, but she is always a queen with Rock the Crown. And of course, our last thing is, of course, our beautiful Nafisa recently getting married as of yesterday. She will still be joining us for season 6, but in a limited manner as well, because of course she's going into a new life and everything like that. But alhamdulillah, we have some great ideas coming up. You may see us live and in person throughout the city of Atlanta for season 6, right?
That's what I was going to say, because one of the things that we want to focus on is actually going out in the community and contacting people and highlighting people on the greatness that they're doing in their area of expertise. whether it's business, whether it's social work, whether it's something where you're volunteering. So we definitely look forward to that.
Yes, and you may see us at some of the events broadcasting live, so check that out as well. And before we close out, of course, I am the fashion show coordinator for the Sealed Nectar Fashion Show, and I would be remiss if I did not say go to www.Sealed Nectar Fashion Show, and let me just spell that for everyone because some people like how you spell nectar.
Mm-hmm.
It's www.sealed, sealed as in like closed. Nectar, Nectar fashion show. And let me also say this, sealed nectar is not a term that is prophetic. Okay. Although there is a book called Sealed Nectar that talks about Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, it is not a prophetic tradition that sealed nectar is the actual that is something that the person who wrote that book came up with. So please stop sending me nasty messages about how we stole the prophet's saying. We did not. So we can, sealed nectar can be anything. So Sealed Nectar Fashion Show, June 19th, Juneteenth, honey, because I'm from Texas. We've always celebrated Juneteenth. I know here in Atlanta, they're just now getting to it, but it's going to be a beautiful in-person fashion show. And of course, Nefertari, one and only, my girl, will be one of the designers on there, as well as some other designers. Definitely be looking out for all those social media posts this week that we'll be talking about all the beautiful designers that we're going to have this season for the show. But if you want to come out, don't forget to get your ticket. So go to the website, purchase your ticket, and we hope to see you there.
Yeah, I think people are really looking forward. Yeah, I think people are really looking forward to the fashion show being live. You know, I've had a few people ask me, like, you know, is it going to be virtual? And, you know, I think people are ready to get out and mix and mingle, you know, and I will definitely say still, you know, take all your herbs and stuff, you know, be well, be healthy, and still be, you know, practice safety in your crowds as you go out. But we do look forward to being face to face and seeing our beautiful fashions come down the runway from all our beautiful designers who are inspired by just designing for African American women, or even just for our Muslim women in general. So
yes, and I love the theme, of course, mahogany life. Ooh, who doesn't love that, right? Mahogany life. So yes, hopefully we'll see you at this year's 36th annual fashion show, running consistently. Shout out to Amir Wazir, who began this whole journey, and shout out that we are continuing this legacy for not only her, but for the Atlanta Masjid of Al-Islam, remembering that this is the one and only fundraiser that has been consistent for the Atlanta Masjid. So when you're making your tickets are non-refundable because, again, it is a fundraiser, but we hope to see you there. Thank you so much again for season 5, Crown Nation.
Tell them how much tickets are and where they can go.
$20. Friday, we have an event outing, so we'll invite everybody to a special event. Saturday, day full of workshops at the Atlanta Masjid of Al-Islam. And then, of course, Sunday, the actual show at the Lake location. So we hope to see you all there. But as we close out season 5, we want to remind everyone to like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Instagram. We will see you, inshallah, for season 6. We love you, Crown Nation. Peace out. Assalamu alaikum.